All right. Ever wonder what really happens to your clothes at the dry cleaners? It's like you drop off a pile of clothes that look like they lost a fight with a plate of spaghetti, and they come back looking brand new.
Like magic.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Is it magic? Tiny fairies with stain-removing wands?
Well, not quite magic, but it is pretty cool.
Okay, I'll bite. What's the secret?
It all starts with understanding that dry cleaning isn't actually dry.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I know. It's a little confusing.
But I thought the whole point was no water.
You're right. It doesn't use water, at least not the way you'd think. Instead of dunking your clothes in soapy water like in your washing machine, dry cleaners use special liquids.
Oh, special liquids.
Yeah, they're called solvents. And they're way gentler on delicate fabrics that would totally be ruined in a normal wash. Think silk, wool, cashmere.
Ah, so that's why my fancy clothes go there.
Mhm.
But what's so bad about water for those fabrics?
Well, imagine throwing a delicate flower into a hurricane. That's kind of what it's like for those fabrics in a washing machine. All that agitation, the harsh detergents, the heat, it can shrink them, warp them, even make the colors run.
Yikes. So these solvents, they're like a magic potion or something.
Not quite a magic potion, but they do have a special job. The most common one is called perchloroethylene.
Perchloro what now?
Haha, yeah, it's a mouthful. They call it PERC for short. And it's really good at dissolving oils and grease. You know, the stuff that makes those stubborn stains that just won't come out with plain water.
They're like the superhero of stain removal.
Yeah,
I like it. But I've heard there are other options, right?
Yeah.
Some eco-friendly ones.
exactly. PERC has gotten some bad press because it can be hard on the environment if it's not handled
Oh,
properly.
yeah, makes sense.
But the good news is there are some awesome new alternatives popping up, like liquid carbon dioxide.
Wait, CO2, like the stuff we breathe out.
Yep, that's the one. And the same stuff that makes soda fizzy.
Whoa, cleaning clothes with soda. That's wild.
It's pretty neat, right? So CO2 is usually a gas, but if you put it under pressure, it turns into a liquid. And that liquid acts like a solvent, just like PERC.
So it's like a spa treatment for my clothes, but way better for the planet.
Exactly.
Okay, so I drop my clothes off. What happens next? Do they just dump everything into a giant vat of PERC or CO2?
Huh. I wish it were that simple.
What do they do?
The first step is a super thorough inspection.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, the dry cleaner is like a detective, carefully checking each garment.
For what?
For stains, of course, but also any damage like loose buttons or tears and, those all-important care labels.
So they're like the Sherlock Holmes of stains. I bet they've seen some pretty crazy stuff.
Probably. What about you? Ever had a dry cleaning mishap?
Oh, totally. Once, I thought I could get away with washing a wool sweater at home.
Uh-oh. That doesn't sound good.
Let's just say it ended up fitting my chihuahua better than me.
Yeah, delicate fabrics definitely need that special treatment. That's why dry cleaning exists.
Lesson learned. Okay, so my garments passed inspection by Detective Dry Cleaner. What's next? Is it finally solvent time?
You got it. The clothes go into this special machine. It kind of looks like a washing machine, but it works totally differently.
Okay, and then?
The solvent goes in, whether it's PERC or liquid CO2, and then the machine gently agitates the clothes. It's not a harsh spin cycle, more like a gentle rocking.
Like a little dance for my
Yeah,
clothes.
exactly. That lets the solvent really work its magic, dissolving all the oils, dirt, and grime.
Sounds relaxing. But wait, what about those super stubborn stains? Can the solvent handle those?
Ah, that's where the dry cleaner's expertise comes in. They've got all sorts of tricks for those tough stains.
With fricks.
Oh, yeah. They're experts at knowing what works for different stains.
It's not just about the solvent then. It's knowing how to use it. Kind of like a chef knows just the right spice to use.
Exactly. Now, speaking of knowing just the right thing to do, let me tell you about this one time I had a silk blouse with a giant ink stain on it, right on the front. I thought it was a goner. But the dry cleaner, they worked their magic.
Really? They got the stain out.
Completely. It was like it never even happened.
Wow. So ink, no problem.
Mm.
What about like wine stains or grease? Can they handle all that?
Absolutely. Ink, wine, grease, you name it. Dry cleaners have a whole arsenal of stain fighting techniques.
Sounds intense. Like, what do they do?
Sometimes they pre-treat the stain before the solvent bath.
Makes sense.
And sometimes they use these special spotting agents afterwards. For those really stubborn spots, it's like a surgery on your clothes.
Wow. Okay, so
Yeah.
after the solvent bath and the stain surgery, what happens then? Can I wear my clothes?
Almost. There's still the finishing touches. That's where things get really neat, literally.
It's really,
Yeah, the clothes go through a pressing and finishing process.
yeah, to get all the wrinkles out.
Exactly. To make sure everything is crisp and wrinkle-free and looking its absolute best.
So it's like a super-powered ironing service.
You could say that. They use steam and heat, and they have all these specialized presses, especially for suits or delicate stuff like pleated skirts. It's really an art. They even have these special presses for suits to make sure they look sharp enough to cut diamonds.
Okay, now that's impressive.
Yeah,
But how do they know everything's actually clean before they give it back?
good question. There's a final inspection. Every garment. It's like the fashion police are making sure your clothes are ready for the runway.
Even if my runway is just the office hallway.
Exactly. They're checking for any little thing, stains, loose buttons, loose threads, anything. They really take pride in their work.
It's kind of cool when you think about it.
Yeah.
This whole team of clothing superheroes working behind the scenes to keep our clothes looking amazing.
It is. Now, speaking of superheroes, I have a friend who thought HE was a dry cleaning superhero.
Uh-oh, this doesn't sound good.
Yeah, he thought he could save some money. Decided to wash his dry clean only wool suit at home. Let's just say it ended up fitting his cat better than him.
Another shrunken garment casualty. Maybe some things are better left to the pros. But all this talk about dry cleaning, it seems like a lot of chemicals and machines and stuff. Is it bad for the environment?
That's a great question, and you're right to think about it. The traditional dry cleaning with PERC, it did have some environmental concerns, but thankfully things are changing. There are some really amazing new technologies and solvents out there that are way gentler on the planet.
So I could be fashionable and eco-conscious.
Exactly.
Okay, tell me more. What are these eco-friendly options? What are they using instead of PERC?
Well, remember that liquid CO2 we talked about?
Yeah, the soda stuff.
Right. It's sustainable, non-toxic, and it doesn't leave any harmful residues behind. And some dry cleaners are even using something called wet cleaning.
Wet cleaning. But I thought the whole point of dry cleaning was, well, no water?
I know, right? But wet cleaning is different. It uses water, but with special biodegradable detergents. And it's a gentler approach for clothes that maybe don't need that full solvent treatment.
So it's like giving your clothes a spa day with a clear conscience. I like it. What about those silicone-based solvents? I think I read something about those.
You're on top of it. Those are really cool, too. They're actually made from sand.
Sand. Really?
Yep, completely natural. And when they break down, they turn back into sand and water. Talk about a closed loop.
Wow, that is pretty cool. It's amazing how they're finding all these ways to make dry cleaning more sustainable. But before we go totally green, tell me about that wet cleaning. Have you ever tried it?
Oh, absolutely. Just last week, I took a delicate cashmere sweater to a dry cleaner who specializes in wet cleaning. They use these special machines, really gentle, and they control the whole environment so there's no risk of shrinking or damage.
How did it turn out?
Oh, it was amazing. Came back softer than a cloud. Seriously, like brand new.
Wet cleaning, huh? I have to try that. Okay, so many options for keeping our clothes looking good. But before we go, any pro tips for making the most of our dry cleaning experience, besides reading the care labels? Because honestly, sometimes I feel like those are written in a secret code.
I know, right? But yeah, reading those labels, that's key. And here's another one. Don't wait.
Well, wait for what?
If you spill something, don't let the stain just sit there. The faster you get it to the dry cleaner, the better the chances they can get it out.
Makes sense, the sooner the better. Like going to the doctor, I guess. Early detection.
Exactly. Anything else? Let me think. Oh, here's a good one. Be a stain detective.
A stain detection.
Yeah. If you know what caused the stain, tell your dry cleaner. Like, knowing it was red wine versus ketchup can make a big difference in how they treat it.
Ah, so it's like giving them a clue to solve the mystery.
Right. It's a team effort. You and the dry cleaner working together to keep your clothes looking their best.
I like it, a fashion partnership. So, big takeaway is, don't be afraid to ask questions.
Exactly. A good dry cleaner will be happy to explain things, answer any concerns you have. They're the experts, after all.
Makes sense. Well, I'm feeling way more enlightened about the whole dry cleaning thing. It's not just dropping off a bag of clothes and picking them up all clean and pressed. There's a whole science behind it. And all this new technology, eco-friendly options. Pretty cool.
It is. And it's a good reminder that even everyday things can have these hidden depths. Like, who knew there was so much to learn about dry cleaning?
I know, right? Next time I see that dry clean only tag, I'll definitely think twice. Maybe even chat with my dry cleaner. and see what I can learn.
I bet you'll be surprised. So to everyone listening, next time you're staring at that laundry pile, remember the magic of dry cleaning. It's science, it's art, it's a little bit of magic all rolled into one.
And with all these eco-friendly options, you could look a good in toy. And you feel good about it.
Exactly.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Until next time, stay curious, stay stylish, and keep those clothes looking sharp.